Okay, so I've got my apples and it's time to make this year's batch of apple cider vinegar. And I've set myself up outside because it is such a beautiful day. I do not want to be inside chopping apples, so I've just got it all out here. I think I've got everything I need for this first stage of the brewing. So we're going to use the whole of the apples, including the pips, the core. All I do is chop out any bad bits, and I do try and chop the apple to about the same size pieces throughout. And I brew quite a lot of apple cider vinegar because we love it. It's something I use a lot. But obviously you can brew it in much smaller batches if that suits you. Murph can have some of the bits going spare because he loves apple. And honestly, you don't have to be particular about this part of it, just roughly chop them up. And I've got a mixture of apples from about 3 or 4 trees here. I think that helps to add different flavours and different elements from a variety of trees. And one of the reasons why apple cider vinegar is so good for you is because it is a ferment. And we know that ferments are particularly good for things like gut health, general immune system boosting. You can use apple cider vinegar in so many ways. You can use it as skin and hair tonics. And one of the things that I use a lot of our apple cider vinegar for is to brew it on into fire cider, which is an amazing health tonic which I keep in stock all the time. And I have got a video on our channel that I made a few years ago about how to make fire cider. It's a bit of an old one, but all the important information is in there. So check that one out if you would like to learn more about fire cider too. But apple cider vinegar is particularly good for gut health, for digestion. A lot of people say taking just a tablespoon in some water before a meal can really help, particularly if you do have any digestive sort of issues or sensitivities. But yeah, just an amazing wellness tonic. And salad dressings, that's another main thing that we use it for. I just keep it in stock all the time. Antifungal, if you get any fungal infections, you can use it as a rinse, which is awesome. When Dan goes to Borneo, he actually takes a small bottle of apple cider vinegar with him because when he's in the rice paddies, sometimes that doesn't agree with his feet so much, and he finds that the apple cider vinegar is the only thing that works really well against the issues he has there. So yeah, amazing. You can make it yourself or you can buy it in stores, but it is something that is well worth keeping in stock. And I'm going to fill these jars to around about half full, and then we'll be adding some other ingredients. But you don't actually have to use whole apples. You can use the scraps of apples, the cores, if you've been making other things up, and you can save all the odd bits of your apples, freeze them and use them when you have enough for whatever size brew it is you're making. But yeah, personally I've always used whole apples because we can always get our hands on plenty of apples, which is really lucky. Okay, so that is my jars filled about halfway. So next we're going to add the water, and you want to fill it with water so you've just got enough headroom so you can still get your sugar in, and give it a good stir without spilling everything out. And the sugar is what's going to kind of start the fermentation process, so it is essential, unfortunately, if you're someone who's not so keen on sugar. So that's 5 litres of water that I've got in this jar. So now I'm going to add just over a cup of sugar. It will work out at a cup and 4 tablespoons. And basically the ratio is 1 tablespoon of cane sugar, and I use raw organic sugar for everything, per cup of water. So 1 tablespoon per cup of water. So if you're doing this on a smaller scale, that's a really easy way to work out what you need. And now the really important part here is to give this a really good stir until all the sugar has dissolved. And what's going to happen is it's going to gather right at the bottom here, so you do have to keep stirring it for a good few minutes. And particularly with these jars of mine that have got the tap on, the sugar tends to get stuck under the tap, so I have to be really careful at making sure that I get it all mixed in from down there. And the other thing I like to do now at this stage is add a good glug of pre-made apple cider vinegar, ideally a really good quality one with the mother in, because this will help to kickstart the brew. And this is some of my batch from last year, so I'm just going to add a really good glug into there. But it doesn't matter if you haven't got any, that part isn't essential, but it may just help. So I'm going to keep stirring this now until the sugar has dissolved, and then I will do the same with the other vat, add the sugar and the water, and then I'm going to put a cloth cover with an elastic band over the lid so your ferment can breathe. And then you want to store this or keep it in ideally a cool, dark area in your kitchen or pantry, or somewhere where you're going to see it every day, because the next part of this process is to stir your apple cider vinegar every day for 14 days. And that is really important. So yeah, if you can see it somewhere to remind you. And then after the 14 days, we strain off the apples and let it sit. So we'll put all the liquid back into this vat, put the cover on, the cloth cover on again, and we'll let it sit and brew for at least another 4 weeks, sometimes longer, depending on your taste and how acidic you would like your vinegar. So yeah, that is how I make my apple cider vinegar. And if you would like to see the full process of me doing this, I did make another video a good few years ago which shows the full process right through to bottling of how I make the apple cider vinegar. So you can check that video out. I'll pop the link in here. And yeah, get making some apple cider vinegar, because it is absolutely awesome to keep in stock for so many things, and well worth looking into more of the health benefits and uses of apple cider vinegar. So I hope you've enjoyed seeing how we brew up our super amazing apple cider vinegar using this simple method. If you've enjoyed this video, please make sure that you click the like button and subscribe to our channel, Freedom Forest Life, and we will catch you here again soon. Peace and plants.